Welcome to YellBRo. I am Jordan, and today, I guess we're going to talk about a men's rights activist calling in the Seder or whatever, but I'm going to focus more on men's rights, whatever. Uh, but first, please remember to share, support, hopefully donate to Devon's Journey to Recovery and Unapologetic GoFundMe, both links in the description box. Do it! Now, do it! Do it! But Master, I can't do it! All right, so yeah, like I said before, I'm experimenting with this monetization thing so I can make money off of you, and I'll grift my way to do it. So this is going to be part of my grift here, where I talk about men's rights. Now, I have empathy with all people that are, hopefully, that are trying to do something or make things better. So hopefully, the guy who's calling in means it. And they said, Cedar, Emma Vigilant, and Nomiki Konst, I think her name is. Like, I don't expect you guys to really be like in this to be in like really in this thing. I think you're just gonna take a cliched position and run with it. No real deep, in-depth thought, just cliche after cliche of men's rights. That's stupid. I don't expect you to like be real about it. I expect you'll just try to outsmart him and make him look dumb. Anyways, yeah, that's how you fix the world. Anyways, here we go.
I've been watching some of your episodes recently, and some of your viewers have advised me to call in. I am a men's rights activist.
You're a men's
I'm
rights
actually a
activist?
moderator of several men's rights groups.
Okay.
And I feel like the men's rights movement is very much misunderstood.
Misunderstood.
I've called in C-SPAN before. I've written articles before.
Okay.
And it's a fun hour, so let's just talk.
Okay.
So what would your perception, if someone told you they were a men's rights activist, what would your perception be? Like, how would you see that first gut reaction?
My first gut reaction? Do you want me to be totally honest?
Of course.
I think you're a lunatic.
Okay. You say lunatic.
Yeah, you asked me to be honest, and I wasn't going to disrespect you by not being honest. So that was my first thought, was like...
My first idea would be, that's a silly idea, right? That's a silly idea. You're human before you're even man, right? Or woman. Whatever, that doesn't matter. Especially in the essence of rights. The idea of the essence of rights should be across the board, covers everyone, universally. But, all right, let's play this.
Okay, you say lunatic.
Yeah, you asked me to be honest, and I wasn't going to disrespect you by not being honest. So that was my first thought, was like...
I would ask for nothing less than the truth, and that's absolutely fine. I get that reaction all the time, and I understand why that's your reaction.
Right.
I see all these articles that are equating the men's rights movement to like the alt-right, to like incels, to misogynists, and what I'm trying to get across...
Which obviously happens, right? They're going to tie that to MGTOW. And you guys are just incels and women won't sleep with you. That's why you're a men's rights activist or whatever the fuck. And a lot of, I guess, alt-right people, adopt the MGTOW. I think that's more of a scam to gain more followers. You'll dig into as many topics that, that are being pushed to the side by society, and just run around those groups and you try to gather them into your group because... Could be money, could be you want an army, who the fuck knows? But that seems to happen all the time, no matter what side of political spectrum you fall on. All right, here we go.
Is that is not what the men's rights movement is actually about. And
well, why don't you tell us what the men's rights movement is actually about?
Okay. I would say there are both legal and social disparities that affect men and boys around the world. So both instances of legal discrimination that hurt men and boys, and different social standards and double standards that affect men and boys. And we would like to bring attention to these disparities and discriminations, both legislatively to fix the laws and make them equal, and socially to get people kind of talking about it. Hey, you know what? I've noticed this is true. this is the double standard that affects men.
Right.
How come when a guy gets to call his girlfriend, people think it's funny, etc.
Okay. Now.
He said right there, it's hard to hear him. He says, how come when a man is assaulted by his girl, it's more of a funny thing than it is like, oh no, help him. I think that's what he said, I believe. So, all right. What I would tell this guy is, like, if hopefully he means well. I don't know him, but he sounds like he's, like, I guess legitimately into this or whatever. I'd be like, hey, come over here. You check this out. Here's this guy right here. I wouldn't tell him who to study, but I'd be like, oh, so here's this idea right here. It's in the realm of psychology. It's called conditioning. Like, check this out. Really look into it. Then maybe he'll check it out and come back to me like, okay, this is my ideas of, okay, this is what I understood about conditioning. And man, you're right. Seems like men and women are treated a certain way based on the cultural conditioning and social conditioning that's happening around them. And most people happen to fall into that conditioning and they end up behaving that way, of treating men like this or treating women like that. And I'd be like, huh. What else? Is there anything outside of that, of just the men-women's issue, that you can see this phenomenon we call conditioning happening at, to where it's like, it's conditioning in the sense of like blind conditioning, right? You're straight up being programmed by your environment and by your biology, as opposed to a self-created conditioning of your ego, right? Your psychological ego. And then he'd start seeing that, like, oh, fuck, this is rampant in all these fucking different things. Okay, well, how do we fix that? It's like, there is no fixing that. All anyone could ever do is just ask the question, how do you know you're not conditioned? How do you know you're not? To where at the very least, they will go back and start observing their own behavior, to where they become their own personal psychoanalyst. That's where the work is done, and that cleans up men's rights, that cleans up women's rights, that cleans up all of it. I truly believe that cleans up, that washes a whole bunch of things for the normal populace, right? Obviously, there's a lot more detail and some other darker things that come into play, right, that really need to be worked on as well, but the conditioning aspect is such a big fucking hurdle, right? To where you can have a correct answer, but no one will actually hear it because they're used to their conditioned version of the world. So you can do something where you ask questions instead of just, you ask questions and you try to explain what conditioning is. Like, hey, how do you know you're not falling into this? Or how do you know you're not conditioned in this way, or whatever? Or by simply, obviously the slow process would be challenging ideas until, like, maybe they concede one day. That's another form of dealing with conditioning, but that'd just be replacing their conditioning with your new conditioning, right? Maybe where they're just like, oh, I agree with what this guy tells me because he schooled me once or something. So I think the faster process is just to get something like, how hard is it to just observe yourself? It doesn't mean sit down and do nothing. It means live your life, but just observe yourself while you're doing it. That's not fucking like some crazy thing. That's not some Buddhist monk fucking thing. That's simple as anything. We do it, I think most people do it from random moments they end up doing it. Like, man, why did I think that? Or why did I say that? Or why did I do that? Usually it's after the fact. But imagine carrying that observing that observer all day long. I know it sounds like a task, but it's doable. You can do it. But, it seems like I think most people find it more enjoyable on the surface. And of course, Emma, Sam, and Nomiki. I watched the whole video. I'm not playing the whole fucking video. It's like a half hour long. I'm done here. I just want to talk about this idea. But it seems like these guys will keep it on the surface. They won't ask questions which makes the guy like look a little deeper, then look a little deeper and look a little deeper. Instead, they're going to say, well, what about this law over here? That's unfair to women. Now what? It's like, you're just keeping him on the surface. You're giving him room to find, you're giving him room to find other arguments that will end up reinforcing the idea you already had, right? Even if he walks away from here looking silly from the argument, he could still go start researching. Like, man, I think I'm right though. Let me go research, and he'll find a counter argument to their arguments. If he doesn't even have one already. So I don't know. Sometimes I think it's important, especially when we're talking about like if you're talking about men's rights and you're talking about women being treated differently on a cultural, social level, like the idea of the girlfriend, like the idea of the girlfriend hitting the boyfriend and everyone laughing, but if the boyfriend hit the girlfriend, no one would be laughing. Like that simple concept. That's clearly an idea of social conditioning, right? That's clearly that idea there. So why not take it to that level? Unless these guys, the helpers, can't actually observe it themselves because they're locked into conditioning mode. And trust me, in my opinion, that shit wears on you as time goes by. Wears on you. Which is why, oh fuck, I might have broke my mouse. Oh no, I broke my mouse. That works. Oh, I'm fucked, aren't I? Haha. I literally broke my mouse. Oh shit. I'll use that for now. But yeah. Fuck, where was it? Yeah, those deeper concepts, I don't think they can even observe them or see them themselves. Like they're lost in the mysterium as well. Seems like that. Like when some guy yells out, "Hey man, every woman I grew up with, they can't do any type of physical labor." Their counter argument will probably be, "Well, look at this lady. She can bench press 500 pounds. See, look, amazing. Look what women can do." Rather than like trying to really break down at the core of how all this conditioning, biological and social conditioning, have all played a role to what we see today, right? Of women not maybe having access to being a fucking athlete or something, or doing athletic things to where they can build the strength to be like a laborer or whatever the fuck, or even even the idea of progression gets ignored because of X, Y, or Z, on and on and so forth. All these psychological things playing on people, which hold them in a certain place. Granted, obviously women are breaking out of it. There's fucking savages out there. Right? There's fucking Amanda Nunes or these fucking weightlifting champions or Clarissa Shields where like, oh, those are athletes. Those are fucking athletes. But I don't think enough. Maybe people need a slow drip. I don't know. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe they want to go slow. But for me, anytime I get in an argument or a discussion about something like this, I'm going to try to go to that level and bring it there. Because that's where I think the actual answer is. And I don't hear anyone else saying it, so I'm going to say it. Fuck it. All right, so there you go. There's my idea with men's rights and maybe different approaches that should be taken in regards to dealing with that and, dealing with the topic itself. And obviously the psychological stuff plays on the legal level as well, right? Because people make laws and people are the ones I'm talking about being conditioned. So if you maybe fix the conditioning, or just get people to observe their own conditioning, maybe the laws will change with it and the social behavior will change with it. Hopefully. But that's it for me. Please subscribe if you like. Comment, agree, disagree. Tell me what you think. Don't think, tell me. Don't forget to share support, hopefully donate to Devon's Journey to Recovery and Unapologetic's GoFundMe. Both links in the description box. I tell you to leave a comment. Leave a comment. Whether you agree or not, do it. And with all that said, give this video a thumbs down.